Everybody, it's Bryan, your friendly neighborhood reviewer, and I'm here today to discuss Chicago's sixth album, Chicago 6. As always, Chicago has some really cool covers. They really do. Their packaging and stuff is always high quality. They really like to please their fans with multiple record sets, with posters and all kinds of stuff. I mean, the Carnegie Hall box set was probably a mini Christmas gift, and for a lot of people back then. But anyway, so this is like in the bank certificate. I think it is a silver certificate, something like that. Kind of cool. It's got band photos of everybody in there. But that's the back side, same thing. And the inside, of course, it's produced by James William Guercio, I think it is. Probably butchering that too. So this is still finding them really, really strong material. Really strong material. Again, Terry Kath is still with them. Unfortunately, he would pass away years later. Terrible accident. But so this still finds them in top form. It finds them taking their basic horn-based R&B, jazzy kind of sound and tweaking it as much as they can. And for the most part, it works really well. Definitely well. I mean, these guys, Robert Lamm, Peter Cetera, Danny Seraphim, man, talk about one of my favorite drummers. He's one of my favorite drummers of all time. He's able to go from, again, I love bands that can skip styles real easily, like the Elton John's band. You've been with him for a long time. But Danny Seraphim is an amazing drummer. He can skip he can do a jazzy type thing, then go into a pop. He can do a hard fills. I mean, really amazing. And then he can drive it. This dude is cool, and he's funky. He's funky too, man. Really cool. One of my favorite drummers of all time. Kudos to him. But Chicago's a hell of a band. Critics used to lambaste them all the time. Again, kind of like a lot of bands that some critics just beat to death, But over time, especially those early Chicago albums, they are beginning to be rediscovered and looked at as kind of lost classics. A lot of them. Certainly, at least to the 4-star level. It's not just, when Terry Kath died, they did lose a huge, that was a loss I don't think they ever really came back from. They were able to move on, but the sound they got with him and those early albums are just, wow. Terribly, terribly underrated, beyond belief. Thank God they're being rediscovered now. It's funny because one of the songs is Rediscovery on this album. But we'll go through the tracks here real quick. Critics' Choice, the opening, which is just Robert Lamm on the piano. Usually, I don't like songs that whine about music critics. It just sounds pitiful, but he pulls it off pretty good. And even aside from the lyrics, just the piano is just fantastic. So, really unusual opener. Again, trying to tweak that sound a little bit, and they do very successfully with that song. And then it goes right full tilt into just You and Me. One of their greatest songs of all time. And that jazzy breakdown in the middle, that's what I'm talking about, Danny Seraphim. My gosh, these guys, they could go into a jazzy soul and all that, and the horn section and all that. Just killer. This shows them doing what they do best in a lot of ways. And that song is again, a killer. It deserves every success it had. And then we go really kind of hard into Darling Dear, which is just a tear him up, this boogie number, man. It's like he starts to roll that tape. I'm like, yeah, he does, and he just wails on that. But again, another Robert Lamm number that just kicks ass, man. He was on fire on this one. And then you got Terry Kath singing on the next one. These guys are so versatile, man. That they all sing, they all write, that's just so amazing. They're really great writers. And Jenny is another proof of that, a Terry Kath number, which is really open letter to his dog to watch over his girl while he's gone on the road. And it's kind of got a little sad part to it, talking about everybody just wants to shit on you. This album is kind of it's kind of like their little sorrowful album. This was after they got back from L.A., and they experienced all the LA lifestyle, and it really kind of depressed them, honestly. Like the first song on the second side, how something in the city changes people, talking about LA. But yeah, it has a lot of Hollywood, of course. Hollywood. I mean, you can't ignore the lyrics on that. And they fight their way through it. You're feeling strong every day. By the end, you really feel them fighting through that. But you got the negative critical press that they talk about, then the Hollywood lifestyle they talk about, and the LA lifestyle, and it does. It kind of sours their perspective a little bit, even though they keep their optimism. They're true hippies. But Ginny's a really great number. Really, really well done. Sweetly sung by him. And then, oh my goodness, What's the World Coming To? That's another title. Again, that kind of fighting against that negative impulses from the world that they experienced in L.A. and Hollywood and all that. But boy, what a burning number. Wow. I mean, a lot of people don't even know that number exists. If all you know is Chicago hits, oh my goodness, Google that song. What's this world coming to? Oh my goodness. You're talking about a barn burner, man. That just kicks ass. I mean, wow. You hear that, and then the horn breakdown at the end. Yeah, Terry Kath is on the guitar. I'm like, oh, get out of here, man. Yeah, go tell me Chicago sucks after listening to that track. Yeah. And then you go, again, side 2 opens with Something the City Changes People, which is probably the keynote to the album because it's so unusually constructed and very unusual chords and minor chords. And, wow, I mean, you're talking about painting a picture. And, it's so sad, so sad. I mean, it's like they nail that through the imagery, through the production, through the way the chord patterns they choose, the structure they use. One of their greatest songs, one of their greatest gems on an album. That song it's a rainy day song, but it's a gorgeous rainy day song. And, man, just killer. And then it goes to Hollywood, which, again, a big epic. Kind of a dissing of Hollywood and that lifestyle, which, like I said, they were really privy to when they went out there, and it just really sorrowed a lot of their attitude about things and being out there. So again, that song definitely got something off their chest. And then out of nowhere comes Peter Cetera's in Terms of Two, which is this little jump blues kind of shuffle that, wow, you didn't even think they had that in them. But it works beautifully. It comes out this little folksy little thing, especially after the dissing in the Hollywood and the big epic there, and then Something the City Changes People, which is kind of sorrowful, mournful little track. So that comes out of nowhere and so joyous. And even though it's talking about you're breaking my heart, but it's really cool. Great track from Peter Cetera. And then Rediscovery, which is probably the next track, which is probably probably the weakest number, but man, it's got some funky guitar in it, man. But it kind of reminds me a little bit like Car Assist by My Window on the Doors' L.A. Woman. It has that kind of feel to that, that little like bumping blues kind of, little jam to it. And of course, Terry Kath is great on it, but probably the weakest song of the album. And then it ends with Feeling Strong Every Day. I mean, epic closer, one of their greatest tracks ever. But this album, man, this album's killer. Like I said, if I gave a half, I'd give it 4.5. But it's a 4-star album. It's not quite perfect, but man, that first side is close. Second side is no slouch either. But yeah, definitely. If you think Chicago is just a bunch of ballads and crap, you haven't heard their first early albums. Google that. What's This World Coming To? And you'll change your mind about the Chicago in a heartbeat. But fantastic album. Seek this out. Their first 3 albums are all great. Live at Carnegie Hall is mainly for fans, but you'll probably be one if you hear enough of these albums. And Terry Kath is one of the great guitarists that's unsung. But great album. Definitely great album. All right, y'all. Thanks, everybody. Hit the button, subscribe, do all that stuff you do, that makes this stuff work. But appreciate it, guys. And let me know what you think of this album. Always curious what everybody thinks, because it's interesting what tracks work for some people, what doesn't work for someone else. But anyway, appreciate it, guys. Love each other. Be good to each other. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.